Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. To my new subscribers, my name is Sam G. I'm your lifestyle and personal finance guy. And before we get into today's video, I just want to say thank you to all my new subscribers, everyone that's been supporting me on this new journey that I've started. I really appreciate it. Now, without any further delay, let's get into today's video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about 7 things you should definitely do right before you graduate college. Don't get me wrong, college is a great experience. You learn a lot through your journey through college. You make lifelong friends and you build a lot of connections that really just matter and transcend your time at college. But coming out of college, there's a lot of things that you have to consider and a lot of plans that you have to put in place before you graduate. So here are 7 things you should definitely do before you graduate college. And if you have any more to add, just drop it in the comments. You can also like the video as well if you enjoy the content, and subscribe if you're new. The first tip to keep in mind is to have an exit plan. For instance, if you have student loans, you want to figure out how you're going to pay off those student loans. And actually, I made a previous video talking about how I paid off my student loans in less than a year. You should definitely check it out if you want to learn more about that. You definitely want to have a realistic action plan to pay off your loans. You're going to have a grace period of about 6 to 8 months from your time of graduation to the time where you have to start paying off your loans, and you want to consider something like that. And also another thing to note is that you want to figure out what you want to do after college in terms of your career, right? You have to look at, in the first 3 to 5 years, what's your job outlook going to look like for whatever field that you want to be in. Myself, for instance, I went to school for chemical engineering, so you have to look at some of the companies that hire chemical engineers. What are the growth opportunities like? What's the outlook like? What's the compensation like? And how does that grow over time? So there's a plethora of multivariate factors that you have to look at, and that'll ultimately help you be successful, at least in your first 5 to 10 years, in what you want to do, so you don't end up working a job where you don't really enjoy. You also might have figured out that the job that you went to school for is not necessarily what you want to do. So in that position, you would probably be interested in a career change, right? So with that, you have to know how you want to go about it. If you have to go to grad school, get a master's or get a PhD in something, that would make you qualify for that position. Or you could go to a technical institute or something of that sort. So you just have to have some sort of plan, right, in terms of your career, of where you want to go. The second thing I want you to take note of is to learn how to effectively communicate with people. Networking is a huge part of life outside college, and it becomes very difficult to network when you don't know how to effectively communicate with people. Communication is important in our relationships, mentorships, friendships, even with our workplace etiquette. Communication plays a huge and fundamental role. So you definitely want to learn how to effectively communicate with people. The best way, in my opinion, to get better at communicating is to practice. So I would highly encourage you to attend any networking events that your school may sponsor, any networking events that are outside your school that you might be interested in attending, and that will provide you with a platform to just speak to people that you don't normally speak to and give you the opportunity to just go outside your comfort zone, because that's really the only way to grow. So you definitely want to take advantage of opportunities like that. For instance, when I was an undergrad, well, my school had a lot of networking opportunities that I used to indulge in. I remember Altria was one of them, that Altria had like career fair events where we used to speak to their representatives, and a whole bunch of other ones as well. So you definitely want to look into those and see how best you can take advantage of the school resources that you have. The next thing you should do, if you haven't done already, is to get a credit card. Credit plays a fundamental role in our society that we cannot overlook. You need credit for almost anything that you want to venture on. If you're starting a business, you need credit. If you're buying a house, you need credit. If you're buying a car, you need some sort of credit if you're financing the car. So you want to start building credit as soon as possible if you haven't. You can do this by getting a secure credit card. Your credit limit would be a deposit that you make on that particular card. So let's say, for instance, I put $200 down on that card. My credit limit is $200. I will be making subsequent videos talking more about credit and how to effectively build credit as well. So stay tuned for that, and I'll be bringing that out in a couple of weeks. So the important tip here is to get a credit card. You can do that through your bank. If you have a Wells Fargo account, you can get a Wells Fargo credit card. Capital One, you can get a Capital One credit card. You just have to start somewhere and effectively build your credit. Like I said earlier, stay tuned. In the coming weeks, I will be releasing videos on building your credit and building it effectively. The next tip is that you want to create a LinkedIn account. LinkedIn is the new Facebook. It may very well be the new Instagram with all these new LinkedIn influencers that we have going on nowadays. Anyways, so you want to create a LinkedIn account, develop your resume or CV and put that on there. It's a great way to gain visibility in the professional space. It's also a great way to keep up with industry trends. I would highly encourage you to create a LinkedIn account, add your professors, add your peers, add whoever in college that you associated with or worked with. The vision behind that is to just stay connected with them, and you never know, you might need their help in the future with professors, for instance. You might need a recommendation in, say, the next 6 to 12 months. You can easily reach out to them on LinkedIn, stay connected there, and it makes just approaching them easier because you already have some sort of connection social media wise with them, if you want to call LinkedIn social media, but it pretty much is social media for the professional network. Tip number 5, hang out with your friends a lot more. As you approach the end of your final semester, just hit up your friends that you haven't talked to in a while. Friends that you haven't seen in a while, probably haven't seen them since freshman year. Just make plans with them, hang out, go places in the school that you've never visited. Take pictures, cherish those little moments because once you graduate, you're definitely gonna miss them. Make travel plans with them if necessary. But the most important part of all of this is to stay connected after you graduate from college. The nuances of life often cause us to drift away from each other with work, with family, with everything that we have going on after school. We tend to often not talk to our friends as much, but if they live close by, just hit them up, hang out with them, go to a game, go see a movie, go do something. Just continue to nurture those friendships, and I think that's the most important part of just keeping lifelong friendships. So this tip is just to hang out with your friends a lot more. Obviously, don't let it become a distraction, but make sure that you're hanging out with your friends, just spending quality time with them. Tip number 6, take advantage of student discount. So I have a confession, right? When I first enrolled in my master's program, believe it or not, the first thing I did was actually use my student email to get that $4.99 Apple Music subscription. Yeah, I know. It's not my proudest achievement, but that $4.99, man, that hits different, man, as opposed to the $9.99 that you have to pay every month. So that's one example of utilizing student discounts. There are a whole bunch of things that you can actually get student discounts on. There's services like movie tickets, flight tickets, game tickets, and just a whole bunch of services that you can literally just research on Google, and you find that they provide student discounts for currently enrolled students or students that have graduated less than a year or less than 6 months ago. So definitely look into that. Make sure that you're taking full advantage of your student discounts wherever you go. Now for my final tip, what I want to say is start saving and learn how to budget. Guys, financial discipline is the backbone of a successful life after college. So you definitely want to learn how to budget and stick to the budget as much as you can. Now that's not to say that you won't have some months where you're spending a little over budget. But if that becomes a habit every single month, then you know you have a problem there somewhere. I will be making budgeting videos in the future so you can learn how to efficiently budget. And with regards to your debts after college, I made a video, it's literally my previous video, on how I paid off my loans. And there are some tips in there that you can also learn and just adjust to your style of how you want to pay off your loans after college. And guys, keep in mind that how you pay off your loans also impacts your credit, right? So you want to look at paying quickly versus paying on time, because once your loan is paid off, that counts as a closed account on your credit. And that may be a good thing if you have too many accounts open on your credit. And sometimes you might get a slight dip or a slight increase on how Experian and TransUnion are kind of working. So you want to take note of that before you kind of get into paying off loans. But you definitely want to at least pay off your loans on time, right? You don't want to be lagging behind in payments because you're never going to hear the end of it when you're behind your payments on the loan. They're gonna call you on your cell phone, your landline, they'll email you, they'll text you, they'll do whatever they can to get their money back. So you wanna keep that in mind, and I'll be providing a lot of videos on those kinds of things with credit, with your savings, with debt, to just help you just get a more informed perspective on some of these personal finance essentials. So that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, leave a comment, and subscribe to this channel for more content. And I also want to hear from you. What are some tips that you would give someone that's about to graduate college? Also, if you enjoy background music, check out my second channel, Koffeekeyz Worship, where I play background Christian instrumentals on piano. I think you're really gonna enjoy it. Just give it a try. Let me know what you think. Subscribe on there too, and leave a comment on there as well. And if you have any topics that you would like for me to make a video on, you can contact me on Instagram at Koffeekeyz, or you can email me sam4gh@gmail.com, and I'll be more than happy to take them on. You can also leave a comment on this video and I'll see it as well. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Until next time, be safe and stay informed. Bye.